Hello, and welcome to Bedtime Dreams, a snug little spot where evening stories and gentle relaxation lead the way to a peaceful night's sleep. Tonight, we share another soothing tale designed to calm your thoughts and invite a sense of comforting tranquility. But first, let's pause for a moment to prepare body and mind for rest. Find a comfortable position, and with each slow inhale and gentle exhale, imagine the day's worries drifting away. Detaching from daily busyness can be tough, especially as bedtime nears. But remember, the less we worry about falling asleep, the more easily our minds can release lingering tension. Allow the gentle rhythm of your breathing to wash away any leftover concerns, and let tonight's story guide you into deep relaxation. Now, settle in and let the warm, comforting atmosphere of bedtime dreams envelop you. Enjoy the story, and may your night be peaceful and restorative. The gentle patter of raindrops dances against the bedroom window, creating a soothing melody that guides Lily from her dreams into the soft light of morning. She listens closely as each drop kisses the glass, counting them one by one until they become too many to tally. Allowing her mind to drift, she imagines the sound like grains of rice pouring into a jar. This is the song of the season, she reflects, enjoying the rhythm of the rain and the soft rustling of leaves outside. Envisioning the vibrant colors of autumn and the slow winding down of the year, Lily beams as she stretches her arms high above her head. Though darkness still blankets the world outside, it is time for her to rise. Soon, she will don her hat and coat and make her way to the bakery to prepare for her first customers of the day. Even though she rises earlier than most of her neighbors, Lily finds joy in her routine. She loves her work and eagerly looks forward to placing those first pastries into the oven and brewing the first pot of coffee. The smiles on familiar faces make those early hours worthwhile, ensuring that when night falls, she'll be ready for a restful sleep. Sitting up in bed, she uncovers her legs and slips her feet into the soft slippers waiting on the floor before rising with a contented yawn. Quietly padding into the kitchen, Lily cherishes this peaceful hour when night gradually gives way to day. Through the window, she catches sight of the faint morning light glimmering off the gray facade of her neighbor's house, where he still sleeps soundly. He usually stirs later in the morning, savoring his coffee before tending lovingly to his garden, nurturing each flower and shrub with care. Lily admires his beautiful plants and feels thankful for the warmth and friendship shared among everyone on their street. As she approaches the kitchen counter, Lily prepares a cup of rich black tea, her favorite morning drink. Adding a splash of milk, she watches as it swirls and blends with the dark liquid. Carrying her steaming cup to her usual spot beneath the kitchen window, she settles into a wooden chair and takes her first sip. The flavor envelops her senses like a warm embrace from glowing embers on a chilly day. As Lily gazes through the window at the sky, she notices that a thick layer of clouds has settled over the town. She suspects there won't be any reprieve from the rain today, yet this doesn't trouble her. Autumn showers are a familiar occurrence, and she cherishes the distinct feelings that come with this season. Without the rain, she wouldn't get to don her cozy sweaters, slip into her beloved rubber boots, wrap herself in warm scarves, or wield her bright umbrella. Rain can be quite delightful when you're bundled up and cradling a cup of tea. After savoring the last sip of her tea and rinsing the cup in the sink, she places it on a small bamboo rack to dry. Next, she heads to her bedroom to prepare for the day ahead. With one last glance at her inviting bed, she strides toward the front door, knowing that rest will come later. In the hallway, she dons her felt hat and woolen scarf before grabbing her cheerful yellow umbrella. As she closes the door behind her with a soft click, she steps out onto the walkway and unfurls the umbrella, which blossoms into a vibrant canopy overhead. Out of the corner of her eye, she catches sight of the little white cat from next door, a familiar companion belonging to a friendly woman who often wears her hair in a bun. The cat watches Lily pass by with an inscrutable expression. Lily smiles and gives a friendly wave. Aside from the fluffy feline, the neighborhood is still and serene. As she strolls along, Lily passes charming homes with darkened windows still in slumber. A few porch lights flicker above brick steps, while street lamps cast a gentle yellow glow that dances with raindrops on the pavement. She listens to the rhythmic patter of rain against her umbrella's fabric. Beneath its sunny shelter, she feels secure and dry, reminded of childhood days spent building forts from pillows and blankets. Wrapped snugly in layers of cotton and fleece back then, it felt as if all of existence had been distilled into a peaceful haven just for her. Lily beams at the cherished memory, wrapping her free hand tighter around her woolen scarf. With a joyful leap, she hops over a puddle to her left and gracefully navigates around another on her right as she makes her way down the hill toward the bakery's parking lot. In the distance, the shop's vibrant door stands out brightly against the dim surroundings. The wooden facade is adorned with swirling shades of green, blue, yellow, purple, and orange, inviting everyone who passes by to step inside. She can still vividly recall that summer evening long ago when she painted the door. Brush in hand, she let her imagination flow freely, blending the colors into beautiful spirals across its surface. Once she completed her masterpiece, she brushed the hair from her face and noticed her overalls and hands were speckled with bits of dried paint. A laugh escaped her lips as she reveled in the simple joy of transforming something ordinary into a work of art. Now, Lily retrieves her brass keys and inserts one into the lock of the door. It creaks open, unveiling the shadowy interior of the still sleeping bakery. She shakes off her umbrella and gently taps a switch with her fingertip. The lights flicker on, filling her with a sense of peace. It feels wonderful to be back in the bakery once more. The comforting scents of flour, sugar, and espresso beans greet her as she strolls through the serene shop. These delightful aromas drift from the kitchen, remnants of yesterday's baking adventures. There's also a subtle hint of toasted pecans lingering from the pie she prepared just before closing. As she prepares to open up for the day, Lily mentally reviews all that she plans to create. She turns on the oven to preheat it. First on her agenda are cinnamon rolls, her usual favorite. This time, however, she thinks with excitement that she'll add some toasted pecans for an extra delightful crunch. She gathers all the metal parts of the espresso machine that had been left drying on the rack overnight. And then there's pumpkin pie. She smiles at the thought. Every year around this time, customers begin asking when they can expect those delicious pies to be ready. Some prefer a slice, while others look forward to taking home an entire pie to share with their loved ones. Lily strolls over to the inviting seating nook and gently reaches down towards the wall. Her fingertips brush against a plug, which she carefully connects to the socket. Instantly, strands of fairy lights flicker to life above her, casting a soft glow. For a brief moment, she pauses, allowing her thoughts to settle like leaves in a gentle breeze. Taking a deep breath, she gazes up at the twinkling lights. As she exhales, a wave of tranquility washes over her. It's essential to slow down and savor these little moments, she muses. After all, these are the ones that sprinkle magic into everyday life. With the lights sparkling overhead, she moves to the counter and into the small open kitchen area. From this vantage point, she can see the entire shop and easily transition from her baking station to the espresso machine whenever customers arrive. She retrieves 2 large white buckets filled with dough from beneath the counter. The sticky mixture has been rising overnight, waiting patiently for this moment. Pouring it onto the wooden surface, she flattens it out and sprinkles it with cinnamon sugar and toasted pecans before using her fingertips to roll it into a thick log. She slices it into rounds, revealing delicate spirals of filling within each piece. Dusting the tops with more cinnamon sugar, she places the tray in the oven to bake. Before long, the delightful scent of freshly baked cinnamon rolls fills the air of the bakery. The warm aroma mingles with the cozy atmosphere, wrapping Lily in a comforting embrace that feels like home. A little while later, the oven beeps cheerfully. She carefully removes the tray of rolls and sets it on a wire rack to cool. Now it's time to turn her attention to making a pie. She heads toward the pantry at the back of the kitchen and opens its door wide. To Lily, this space is like her own enchanted room, brimming with all sorts of ingredients and supplies she could ever desire. Tubs of flour and baking powder are neatly stacked beneath large jars filled with spices and bottles of flavor extracts. A jar of fragrant vanilla pods rests on the highest shelf alongside star anise, fresh cloves, poppy seeds, onion powder, roasted garlic, and chili flakes. And there, nestled on the bottom shelf toward the back, are fresh sugar pumpkins sourced from a nearby farm, waiting just for her culinary touch. Lily selects a sturdy, medium-sized pumpkin and tucks it snugly under her arm. In a large metal mixing bowl, she gathers jars filled with spices and a few wooden spoons, balancing everything with the grace of someone accustomed to carrying more than they ought to. Setting her collection of ingredients down on the counter, she knows her first task is to roast the pumpkin. Carefully, she slices the gourd in half, scooping out the stringy insides and seeds with precision. Once done, she places both halves face down on a baking tray and slides them into the oven to soften. While the oven works its wonders on the pumpkin, Lily turns her attention to making the crust. There are many options available, but her favorite is graham cracker crust, a delightful recipe passed down from her Aunt Lucy, who always baked mini pies for all the children during festive times. She retrieves a plastic sleeve of graham crackers from their blue cardboard box and sets it on the counter, covering it with a tea towel. Next, she takes out her hefty rolling pin and gently rolls it back and forth over the towel, crushing the crackers beneath. The smooth wooden handles feel comforting in her hands as she works side to side, listening to the satisfying crunching sound as the crackers break apart. Once they reach a texture similar to coarse sand, she opens the bag's corners and pours its contents into a mixing bowl, enjoying a light puff of graham cracker dust that tickles her nose. Next, Lily strolls over to the gleaming silver refrigerator and retrieves a stick of butter. She unwraps it carefully and drops it into a mixing cup before placing it in the microwave for just a few seconds until it melts. Pouring the warm butter into the bowl with the crumbs, she adds a generous sprinkle of sugar and cinnamon. With a long wooden spoon in hand, she stirs everything together until it resembles wet sand. Using her fingers, Lily spreads this mixture evenly across the bottom and sides of a shallow pie dish. She works meticulously over the crust, ensuring not to let it crack at the edges. With gentle pushes and presses, more here, less there, she creates an even brown base. The oven beeps again, signaling that it's time for the next step. Donning her thick, colorful oven mitts, Lily carefully lifts out the tray of roasted pumpkin before sliding her pie dish into its place in the oven. Setting the timer for 12 minutes ensures that her crust will become just crunchy enough to support the luscious filling that will follow. At that moment, a gentle creak fills the air as the wooden door swings open. Her first customer of the day has arrived. It's Seamus, the warm-hearted elderly gentleman who enjoys his morning ritual of sipping coffee while reading the newspaper and indulging in a cinnamon roll. Today, however, is special because Lily has baked pumpkin pie. He beams at her as she pours a delicate stream of coffee into his mug. After years of visiting her shop, he knows just what to expect. By the time he reaches the counter to greet her with a cheerful "Good morning," Lily has already prepared his breakfast. "It smells like pumpkin pie is on the menu today," he remarks, taking hold of his coffee. With a smile, she assures him that she'll bring him a slice as soon as it's out of the oven. Grateful, he settles into his favorite spot by the window, unfolding the crisp pages of the morning paper. With his presence, it truly feels like the day has begun. Lily finds joy in working while Seamus is there. He is as integral to her bakery as any of her loyal patrons. Together, they form a community, a family of sorts, at the Rainy Day Bakery. Glancing at the timer, she notes that the crust is ready to come out. Donning her mitts, she carefully retrieves the dish from the oven. The aroma wafts through the air, warm, sweet, and inviting, just as Seamus would describe it. Now focused on preparing the pumpkin filling, Lily scoops out the vibrant orange flesh from its skin and places it into a large bowl. Using a wooden spoon, she mashes it until it reaches a smooth and even texture. Next, she retrieves eggs and heavy cream from the refrigerator and begins cracking each egg one by one into the bowl, adding them to the pumpkin mixture. Finally, she pours in the cream, watching its creamy whiteness flow through valleys of orange puree like glistening little rivers. Lily scoops generous spoonfuls of cinnamon, ground ginger, nutmeg, cloves, and cardamom into her mixing bowl. The blend of spices evokes all the warmth and familiarity of the season, encapsulating the essence of the holidays, of family gatherings and togetherness. As she stirs, the air around her fills with a comforting embrace of memories and enticing aromas. She adds a delicate sprinkle of lemon zest to the filling, enhancing its flavor with a refreshing twist. After giving it one last stir until it reaches a perfectly smooth and silky consistency, she carefully pours the filling into the crust, using a spatula to scrape every last bit from the bowl. With gentle hands, she transports the slightly wobbly pie to the oven and places it on the rack with utmost care. With the timer set, Lily takes a moment to pause. Leaning back against her table, she gazes across her quaint shop. In one corner stands a bookshelf filled with well-loved paperbacks and beautifully bound art books left behind by patrons. Over the years, she has added several mystery novels herself, always eager to share stories that might bring joy to new readers. Nearby sits a charming, hand-painted rocking chair for children, which she discovered in a secondhand store long ago. Since then, little ones have adorned it with their own creative touches. Flowers and bees painted alongside squiggly lines and tiny scratches that tell tales of happy visits. The oven timer beeps, pulling Lily back to her baking task. The pie is ready. As she opens the oven door, a warm rush of air greets her like a dragon's breath, filled with the delightful scent of freshly baked pumpkin pie. She carefully lifts the dish from the oven and sets it on the counter to cool while tidying up her mixing bowls, rolling pins, and measuring cups. By the window, Seamus watches curiously as she prepares to slice into the pie. With a soft laugh, she cuts him a generous piece and decides to treat herself as well with an extra slice. After such a long morning in the kitchen, nothing sounds better than savoring something sweet alongside an old friend. She delicately places each slice onto a petite white plate, crowning them with a generous dollop of freshly whipped cream. Carrying the plates to the table by the window, she settles across from Seamus. "It smells delightful, just like it does every year," he comments, eagerly piercing his fork into the rich filling. Lily takes her first bite, savoring the zesty pumpkin flavor that dances on her tongue. The taste is luxurious and fragrant, wrapping her in a warm embrace of sweet spices. It's perfect, she thinks. Absolutely perfect. As she enjoys her pie, Lily gazes around her snug bakery. Seamus beams at her. Good friends make autumn days even brighter, she reflects. Her eyes wander to the twinkling fairy lights that harmonize with the rhythmic patter of raindrops against the glass. These little touches truly make this place feel like home, Lily muses softly. The bakery holds the stories of its visitors, of all those who have stepped through its creaky wooden door. A content smile spreads across her face as she realizes this is exactly where she is meant to be. Raindrops gently tap against the window near Lily's bed. Occasionally, a gust of wind intensifies their rhythm against the glass. Nestled under her covers with her eyes closed, Lily listens to the symphony of the storm outside. It looks like tomorrow will be quite blustery, she thinks, savoring these final moments in bed before rising in the morning. These are among Lily's most treasured times, when her thoughts drift dreamily and she lingers in that blissful state between sleep and wakefulness. Soon enough, a yawn escapes her lips, prompting her to stretch her arms wide. She rotates her ankles gently in each direction, preparing them for movement when it's time to leave her cozy cocoon. Taking a deep breath, she exhales slowly, allowing herself to sink deeper into the softness of the sheets. Just a little longer, she whispers to herself, a gentle smile gracing her lips. The rain continues its rhythmic dance on the window pane, as if curtains of water are playfully opening and closing. A strong gust of wind rattles the branches of the tree outside, sending a flurry of raindrops cascading toward the house. Days like this fill Lily with excitement. When nature seems wild and unpredictable, it sparks something adventurous within her. With that thought in mind, she pushes herself up to sit at the edge of her bed and stands up slowly, casting a glance out of the window as she does so. As always, the world outside remains cloaked in darkness. Lily rises earlier than most of her neighbors, eager to prepare the bakery for the day ahead. She knows the rest of the neighborhood is still peacefully asleep. Even the cats nestled in their soft beds or sprawled on pillows near the windows, patiently awaiting the dawn. Slipping her feet into her cozy slippers, she tiptoes into the kitchen. The first task on her agenda is to set the kettle on for a steaming cup of robust tea. Leaning against the counter, she listens intently as the water begins to bubble and hum. From a drawer, Lily retrieves a small metal tea infuser and carefully fills it with aromatic loose-leaf black tea. Each leaf settles at an odd angle within the infuser, requiring her gentle touch to ensure none escape as she secures it with a twist. She hangs the tea infuser over her cup using a delicate metal hook and chain. Once the water reaches its boiling point, she pours it over the tea, watching as bubbles rise from within the infuser, causing it to bob slightly before settling at the bottom. A beautiful swirl of color unfurls from it, transforming the clear water into a warm amber hue. Bringing the cup closer, she inhales deeply. The scent of hot tea on a crisp morning fills her with joy. Feeling adventurous, she opts to skip her usual splash of milk today and enjoys her tea black instead. Yet craving a touch of familiarity, she carries her cup over to her favorite wooden seat beneath the kitchen window, her cherished spot for savoring morning tea while gazing out at the slumbering neighborhood beyond the glass. On some mornings, sunlight would already be streaming through clouds by this hour, but today is different. A thick blanket of gray clouds looms overhead, and rain falls steadily, only interrupted by gusts of wind that dance through the branches of a tree across the street. It's definitely a day for coats, she muses. Sipping her tea slowly, Lily feels warmth spreading through her with each delightful drop. She wiggles her toes inside her fuzzy slippers, savoring the delightful tingling sensation that travels across her skin. This truly is an exquisitely cozy morning, she thinks contentedly to herself. After savoring her tea, Lily rinses the cup and places it on a bamboo rack by the sink to dry. Even without the sun shining, she senses it's time to get ready for her journey to the bakery. Years of experience opening her shop each morning have attuned her internal clock. She instinctively knows when to finish her tea and when to step out the door to ensure she arrives at the bakery right on time. Selecting a gray shirt that complements the overcast sky, Lily heads to her bedroom to dress. She puts on her thick wool coat, fastening each button snugly, and wraps a cozy cable-knit scarf around her neck, a cherished gift from one of her devoted customers, Rose, from 2 winters past. This scarf is dear to Lily. It serves as a warm reminder of the friendship she's nurtured. filling her heart with joy every time she wears it. With the scarf snug against her chin and a pair of oversized gloves pulled from her coat pockets, Lily grabs her beloved yellow umbrella before stepping outside. After closing the door behind her, she pauses on the front step to open the umbrella. Despite the wind's attempts to thwart her, she successfully unfurls it, adding a cheerful splash of yellow to the dreary morning. As she steps onto the sidewalk, she shields herself from the heavy raindrops that drum against the umbrella. Glancing up at her neighbor's window, Lily notices their small white cat, the one that usually greets her, is still curled up in slumber, enjoying the warmth of home. Normally so alert and watchful, today it seems content in its lazy repose. Watching the cat nap peacefully behind the glass brings a fleeting wish for the comfort of her own bed. Yet thoughts of her loyal customers soon bring a smile to Lily's face, inspiring her to venture out each day, rain or shine, to open the doors of the rainy day bakery. As she strolls along the damp pavement towards town, Lily carefully navigates around large puddles that form with each step. The sidewalk glistens under the glow of the streetlights, although the sun remains hidden from view. It seems like it'll be one of those gloomy mornings, she reflects. Just ahead, she catches sight of the bakery door, painted in vibrant hues that stand out against the muted light, beckoning all who pass by. It's a haven on such a day, where visitors can step inside to enjoy a steaming cup of coffee, indulge in a slice of pie or a warm cinnamon roll, and lose themselves in the pages of a good book. Some guests prefer to engage in lively conversations, cherishing the company of both familiar faces and new friends in this comforting space. She realizes that her bakery has truly woven itself into the fabric of the community, a second home where everyone can find something to lift their spirits. Lost in thought, a sudden gust of wind turns her umbrella inside out. Startled, Lily hastens toward the cheerful door, fumbling with her brass keys to unlock it. With her now damaged umbrella clutched tightly, she pushes open the door, revealing the quiet darkness within the bakery. After wiping her feet on the welcome mat to keep wet footprints at bay, Lily flicks on the lights, illuminating the small shop with a warm glow. Inspecting her yellow umbrella, she notices its bent metal parts and the broken slider that no longer holds the canopy open. With a resigned sigh, she sets it down near the entrance, grateful for its years of service, but acknowledging that it's time for something new. Planning to spend her entire day in the bakery, Lily wonders when she might find a moment to search for a replacement umbrella. She anticipates a soggy walk home later, but feels well prepared for whatever weather may come. Taking a deep breath to center herself, she immerses in thoughts of her tasks for the day as delightful scents of espresso beans, flour, and pecans linger from last night's baking. Usually starting with cinnamon rolls on a typical day, today sparks a sense of spontaneity within her. Perhaps inspired by the wind or the rhythmic patter of rain outside. It feels like an opportune moment for change. Moving into the inviting seating area, she bends down to plug in a string of fairy lights. In an instant, they twinkle above her, like stars in a night sky. With newfound energy bubbling inside her, she returns to the pantry and surveys the shelves brimming with baking supplies and ingredients stacked high. "What shall I bake today?" she whispers to herself with excitement. Just 2 days ago, she prepared a delightful blueberry pie, followed by zesty lemon squares and flaky pecan rolls yesterday. And the week before that, she baked rich chocolate muffins. All of these treats are favorites among her customers. Yet, Lily finds herself wondering what would truly bring her happiness. A few years back, while exploring the family home, she discovered her grandmother's cherished cookbook tucked away on a shelf. As she leafed through its pages, she came across a recipe she had never tried before. Curiosity piqued, she marked the page with a small scrap of paper nestled in the spine. Now, her grandmother's cookbook sits proudly on a dark wooden shelf at the back of the pantry. With a smile lighting up her face, Lily approaches the book and turns to the marked page. The recipe is simply titled Baked Apples. In the margins, which have yellowed with time, Lily recognizes her grandmother's unique handwriting. One note reads, "Perfect for a chilly autumn day." Scattered throughout the page are her grandmother's handwritten corrections, little tips and adjustments to enhance the dish. Today is the day for this recipe, Lily decides. It's time to embark on a new culinary adventure. The ingredient list is quite simple: butter, brown sugar, cinnamon, nutmeg, rolled oats, chopped pecans, and several large apples. Lily gathers all these ingredients and brings them back behind the counter. She sets out the butter to soften and then turns her attention to preparing the nuts. After roughly chopping them into small pieces, she sets them aside before measuring out the oats. Finally, she switches on the oven to let it preheat. The next step in the recipe is a bit more complex. She needs to core the apples and create a pocket for their filling without splitting them apart. Next to the instructions, her grandmother had noted, "Use paring knife and spoon." Taking her paring knife in hand, Lily gently pierces near the stem of the first apple. Carefully, she cuts around the core in a circular motion. Slowly twisting helps detach it closer to the bottom. With a gentle tug, it pops free. The hollowed apple now resembles a little pumpkin with its seeds removed. Setting that one aside, she moves on to the next apple. Before long, this task becomes second nature as she swiftly removes each core until she has an entire line of apples ready to be filled with sweetness. Next, it's time to prepare the delightful filling. Lily gathers the softened butter, sugar, cinnamon, and nutmeg, blending them together with a wooden spoon. Once the spices are harmoniously mixed, she adds in the oats and crunchy pecan pieces. Carefully, she fills each apple to the brim with this sweet concoction. After completing her task with the apples, she arranges them neatly in ceramic pie dishes. Following her grandmother's wise advice, she pours just enough water into each dish to submerge the bottoms of the apples, ensuring they won't dry out or burn during baking. Finally, she is ready to slide them into the oven. With thick oven mitts on her hands, she places the pie dishes onto the metal racks, closes the oven door gently, and sets the timer to remind her when it's time to check on their progress. As Lily tidies up her workspace, she hears the familiar creak of the bakery door opening. It's Rose, one of her beloved customers who has become a dear friend over time. Rose greets Lily with a warm smile, hangs her scarf on a chair, and makes her way to the counter where a steaming cup of coffee awaits her. After expressing her gratitude with a bright smile, Rose asks about Lily's day. With excitement in her voice, Lily shares all about the baked apples from her grandmother's cherished recipe and invites Rose to be her first taste tester. They chat about the blustery autumn weather outside. Lily mentions her broken umbrella and worries about finding a replacement before heading home. Rose reassures her with a gentle pat on her arm and comforting words before settling down at a table with her coffee. Not long after, another regular customer named Seamus arrives. Lily serves him his coffee and promises him a baked apple once they are ready. Throughout the morning, one by one, all of her regulars come in for their warm drinks and treats. Some have braved the storm with rain-speckled coats, while others protect themselves with folded newspapers or shake off their umbrellas as they enter. Lily welcomes each of them warmly as she serves an array of coffees, teas, and pastries. When the timer chimes, Lily shifts her gaze from the cozy seating area to the oven. With great care, she pulls out the pie dishes brimming with apples, now tender and syrupy. Out of the corner of her eye, she catches sight of Rose chatting with various customers. Curiosity flickers in her mind about their early morning exchange, but it quickly fades as she refocuses on her task. Gently, she transfers the soft apples from the water-filled dishes onto individual plates. Making her way to the refrigerator, she retrieves a carton of whipping cream. Pouring some into a bowl, she sprinkles sugar on top and uses a handheld mixer to whip it into fluffy cream. The mixer hums softly as its beaters whirl around, and Lily glances up just in time to see Rose step outside through the door. But she hasn't even tasted her baked apple yet, Lily muses. Once soft peaks form in the cream, she halts the mixer. With a metal spoon in hand, Lily adds a generous dollop of whipped cream atop each apple, finishing them off with a drizzle of her famous caramel sauce. The delightful scent of warm apples mingled with rich cream fills the air, creating an atmosphere of comforting warmth. She carries the first plate over to Seamus and sets it down before him. Then she continues serving the family nestled in the corner, along with the woman engrossed in her newspaper and the man who often orders cranberry scones. As she distributes the apples, Lily notices Rose returning through the door, holding a long, slender package wrapped in shiny paper. Rose gestures for Lily to come over. "This is for you," she says, presenting her with the gift. Attached is a handwritten note that reads, "To Lily, from all your friends at the Rainy Day Bakery." As Lily unwraps it, she discovers a brand new umbrella, vibrant green adorned with yellow polka dots and featuring a handle shaped like a duck's head. "This might just be the happiest umbrella I've ever seen," Lily exclaims to Rose as she admires it. "Thank you all so much." Looking around the room, Lily notices that other customers are smiling brightly as well. It dawns on her that this gift comes from all of them, a token of friendship from those who have become dear to her heart. A wave of warmth and joy envelops Lily. This place and these people truly make her feel at home. "I have something for you too," she says to Rose with a playful wink as she hands over one of the last 2 baked apples made from her grandmother's cherished recipe. The other one she'll savor herself later on. Nestled by the window They gaze out at the drizzly, gray, and breezy day beyond. Yet, within the cozy confines of the rainy day bakery, warmth, safety, and love envelop everyone. With a spoon in hand, Lily digs into the tender apple and luscious filling, perfectly spiced and delectably sweet. The joy is amplified by the thought that her grandmother had guided her through this process, and now she shares it with her dearest friends. As Lily opens her eyes, the first sound that greets her is the soft patter of rain against her window. The rain falls gently, without any gusts of wind, creating a soothing melody as droplets kiss the ground. She stretches luxuriously, yawning as she extends her arms and legs before sinking back into her plush bed, relishing these tranquil moments before the hustle of the day begins. Today marks Lily's special cookie decorating party at the bakery. Though she baked several batches of sugar cookies yesterday, there's still much to do before her guests arrive later in the morning. This season is among her favorites. The bakery comes alive with warmth, laughter, and the joyous faces of friends and neighbors on Cookie Day. After another gentle stretch, Lily rises from her bed, slips into her fuzzy slippers, and retrieves her robe from its hook by the door. Wrapped in its comforting embrace, she tiptoes quietly to the kitchen. Her morning routine unfolds like a cherished ritual. Lily starts by heating water in the kettle before preparing a cup of cranberry orange spiced black tea using a metal tea ball, a wintertime delight best savored with hot water. After adding a splash of milk to her steaming cup, she carries it to her wooden window seat. Outside, the dark morning reveals a faint glow from a neighbor's nightlight across the street, while most folks remain tucked away in slumber. As she is responsible for opening up the bakery each day, Lily is used to rising before anyone else. She finds joy in being part of starting others' days with a warm cup of coffee and a sweet treat. Peering out at the overcast sky, she recalls the weather forecast predicting snow. Gently touching the chilly glass of the window with a smile, she thinks that it merely needs to drop a bit more in temperature for that enchanting snow to fall. For Lily, snowy days sprinkle an extra touch of magic throughout the bakery. From her cozy spot behind the counter, Lily has a perfect vantage point to observe the world outside through the large windows. She delights in watching the snow pile up on the sidewalks, where children frolic and craft snowmen beneath the soft glow of street lamps. Although she has always cherished the sound of rain, Lily believes that everyone deserves a sprinkle of extra magic from time to time. After finishing her tea, she rinses her cup and sets it to dry on the bamboo rack before heading back to her bedroom to get dressed. Each year at the cookie party, Lily dons the same delightful sweater, a treasured Christmas gift from years past. This charming piece features a jolly snowman amidst towering trees, crafted from colorful squares with a silly grin that never fails to brighten her day. Her customers seem to share her fondness for this cheerful attire whenever she wears it. Once she's ready, wrapping herself in her coat, scarf, hat, and gloves, Lily picks up her new umbrella, a vibrant green adorned with yellow polka dots and topped with a handle shaped like a duck's head. She secures the cord around her wrist before stepping out of her bedroom and gently closing the door behind her as she ventures into the early morning drizzle. The rain has lightened since she was tucked away in bed, Now it falls as a gentle mist, yet she still relishes the warm and dry shelter offered by her umbrella. As she strolls down the road, she opens it wide above her head, listening to the soothing rhythm of raindrops tapping against its cheerful fabric. This umbrella brings back fond memories of her friends and loyal customers at the bakery, who surprised her with it after her old one succumbed to an autumn storm. The kindness they showed is something she often reflects on during rainy mornings like this one, as she gazes up through the colorful polka dots marked with trails of rain. As she walks along, Lily notices something different at her neighbor's window. A sleek black cat is perched there instead of its usual white companion, its attentive eyes scanning the street. Behind this new feline friend, she catches sight of a flash of white. It's the familiar cat she often sees on her way to work. Watching as both cats adjust themselves and curl up together like two cozy semicircles, Lily muses to herself, "How lovely for that white cat to have found a new friend. Now they can keep each other company." With a cheerful smile, Lily strolls toward the bakery, where the vibrant, multicolored door soon comes into sight. The first gentle hints of gray morning light begin to dance on the horizon, revealing the various hand-painted shades. Upon arriving at the bakery, she unlocks the door and steps inside, immediately enveloped by the comforting warmth within. After giving her umbrella a gentle shake and leaving it to dry in the entryway, Lily wipes her feet on the mat and takes a deep breath, transitioning from the cool outside world to the cozy interior. The familiar scent of roasted coffee beans mingles with a trace of burnt sugar from yesterday's cookies, bringing to mind memories of toasted marshmallows with their sweet, sharp flavor. She moves forward and flicks on the lights, brightening up the bakery. Heading towards the seating area, she bends down to plug in a string of fairy lights that twinkle overhead. Now ready to begin her day, she typically starts by preparing a generous batch of sticky cinnamon rolls. However, today is slightly different. She still needs to whip up a few batches of cookies to ensure there are plenty for later. Making her way to the pantry, Lily gathers all the dry ingredients she'll need. She's preparing double batches of chocolate chip cookies and stained glass sugar cookies. First, she collects flour, white sugar, brown sugar, vanilla extract, black treacle, and chocolate chips. Next, she finds cornstarch and salt. Finally, she retrieves a bag of colorful hard candies that will be melted down for the glass panes in her stained glass cookies. From the refrigerator, she grabs baking soda and eggs, while noting that the butter has been softening on the countertop, reaching just the right texture for mixing. Lily organizes everything by batch before mixing the dry and wet ingredients in separate bowls. Once everything is ready, she combines them until the dough achieves its perfect consistency. For her chocolate chip cookies, she carefully folds in the chocolate chips to keep them intact before using an ice cream scoop to portion out even dollops onto a tray and placing it in the oven to bake. As for her stained glass cookies, she wraps up that dough and puts it in the refrigerator to chill. This will make it easier to roll out and cut into delightful shapes later on. As the warm and inviting scent of cookies baking begins to fill the air, her first customer of the day steps inside. It's Seamus, as always, arriving for his morning cup of coffee, and a sweet indulgence. While he usually opts for a cinnamon roll, on Cookie Day, he eagerly anticipates being the first to sample whatever delicious treats Lily has prepared, playfully ensuring they've turned out perfectly with a glimmer in his eye. Lily has his coffee ready before he even reaches the counter, sliding it smoothly across the polished wooden surface. Adjusting the newspaper tucked under his arm, Seamus lifts the steaming cup. "What kinds are you baking this year?" he asks, glancing hopefully at the oven. "Chocolate chip, plain sugar, and stained glass," Lily replies with a cheerful smile. "Well then, I suppose I'll have to try one of each, if you don't mind," he says with a grin. "After all, I need to ensure they're up to par." Lily laughs softly and nods in agreement. "Of course," she responds. "Cookie Day wouldn't be complete without you." Seamus finds a cozy spot by the window, settling into a chair that offers a lovely view of the street dotted with puddles. As dawn begins to break behind the thick clouds, though the sun has yet to emerge, the sky shifts to a gentler shade of gray. At that very moment, the timer signals that the chocolate chip cookies are ready to come out of the oven. Donning her oven mitts, Lily opens the door and is greeted by a warm rush of air as she peers inside. The cookies are fluffy and golden brown, their chocolate chips melty and rich, but still holding their shape. Carefully, she lifts the tray out and places it on a wire rack to cool. The enchanting aroma of freshly baked cookies fills the bakery, a delightful scent that Lily believes transforms any place into a true home. Before long, it was time for her to take the sugar cookie dough out of the refrigerator. The dough felt cool and firm beneath her fingers. She placed it on her wooden table and reached for her rolling pin. With graceful, deliberate motions, she rolled the dough to just the right thickness. Next, she used a variety of cookie cutters, square, rectangular, and circular, to fashion it into delightful shapes. After that, she took another set of cutters to create smaller designs within the cookies, shaping them into bells, trees, ornaments, snowflakes, and more. Carefully, she arranged the cookies on a baking sheet that was ready for them. Then, she sorted colorful hard candies into bags by color and crushed them into tiny bits with her rolling pin. With a teaspoon in hand, she sprinkled these sugary fragments into the cutout centers of each cookie. When baked, the candy would melt beautifully, forming a stained glass effect nestled within a cookie window frame. Once everything was set, she slid the trays into the oven and allowed herself a moment to breathe and enjoy the day unfolding around her. Outside, although the rain continued to fall softly, the sky had brightened considerably. People began to venture out from their homes. Some walked while others drove by. A few customers trickled into the bakery. Among them was Rose, a familiar face, along with Gwen Spencer and her two young twin boys. Lily could tell them apart because one wore glasses while the other did not. Apart from that small detail, they were dressed alike in red shirts, blue jeans, and cozy green socks. Just 2 years old, the twins loved exploring the bakery's nooks and crannies, playing in the children's corner and greeting fellow patrons with cheerful smiles. They also knew that whenever they visited Lily's bakery, there was always a sweet treat waiting for them. As Lily catches sight of the preparations, She realizes there's still much to do before the cookie party kicks off. With a quick wipe of her hands on her apron, she strides over to the pantry, eager to collect all the cookie decorating treasures she can find. There are sprinkles in every imaginable shape and color, slender ones, flat ones, and shimmering round balls of gold and silver. She also discovers jars filled with colorful decorative sugars in delightful hues: green, blue, red, yellow, and purple. Chocolate curls, coconut flakes, and tins brimming with crushed peppermint candy join the haul. Carefully, she gathers everything into a large basket and carries it out to the seating area. Once there, she spreads an array of decorations across each table, adding tubes of icing sugar and vibrant gel, along with shakers filled with powdered sugar. Finally, from the very back of the pantry, she retrieves a magnificent metal tree. Its ribbed branches are perfect for hanging ornaments. But instead of ornaments, this tree will showcase all her beautifully decorated cookies. When her timer dings cheerfully, Lily heads back to the oven to retrieve the stained glass cookies. A smile spreads across her face as she admires them. They look absolutely enchanting. Each cookie boasts a glossy center in bright shades of red, blue, orange, yellow, or green. While they cool down, she takes out the plain sugar cookies she prepared yesterday. These have already been cut into whimsical shapes like snow people, evergreen trees, snowflakes, and twinkling stars. One by one, she arranges all these delightful cookies onto large silver platters. Each table will have its own selection, so guests can choose their favorites to decorate. Before she carries out the larger trays, though, Lily has a special delivery in mind. She carefully places one of each type of cookie onto a small plate and sets it right in front of Seamus. His face lights up as he picks up a chocolate chip cookie and takes a hearty bite. A satisfied sigh escapes him as he savors the flavor. "I think these are the best cookies you've ever made," he declares joyfully. "In fact, I believe they're simply perfect." This is something he tells her every year about each batch of cookies. Warmth fills Lily's heart at his words. Knowing that her baking brings such joy makes her day shine just a little brighter each time she creates something delicious. A cinnamon roll here, a croissant there, or a cookie that brings smiles all around. As she returns to the counter, Lily gathers the larger trays and places them carefully on the tables. A quick glance at the clock reveals that it's nearly time for guests to arrive. Just then, as if on cue, the door swings open and the first visitors step inside, a new family from town. They look around with a charming shyness, and Lily greets them with a friendly wave, inviting them to choose a table and begin whenever they wish. They respond with warm smiles and settle at a spot near the entrance. Next in line is an elderly couple visiting their grandchildren. Whenever they are in town, they always make it a point to drop by. They find a seat near Seamus and exchange cheerful hellos before getting comfortable. One by one, familiar faces from the community fill Lily's bakery, young and old, some alone, while others bring loved ones along. Everyone has come for the annual cookie decorating party. Laughter and chatter fill the air as guests gather around tables brimming with colorful supplies, accompanied by the delightful sounds of sprinkles being poured and icing tubes being squeezed. As she takes in the cozy ambiance, Lily feels a wave of contentment wash over her. There's nowhere she'd rather be than here, enveloped by the warmth and friendship of her community. A glance out the window reveals gentle snowflakes beginning to fall from the sky. A child spots them too. "Look, it's snowing," she exclaims, capturing her mother's attention. The room quiets as everyone turns to witness the delicate flakes dusting everything outside. Lily wonders if her neighbor's cats are also watching this snowy spectacle from their window. Whether it's the joy of being among friends or the allure of winter that enchants her, she can't quite tell. Yet she feels an irresistible urge to step outside for just a moment, to feel the snow against her skin. With quiet determination, she moves around the counter, opens the door, and steps into the brisk air, lifting her gaze toward the sky. Spreading her arms wide, she twirls slowly as snowflakes land softly on her cheeks. A smile brightens her face as she playfully sticks out her tongue to catch one of those fleeting flakes. Taking in her surroundings, she marvels at the serene beauty of this wintry day. Everything seems hushed and magical beneath its snowy blanket. In the distance, a crow leaves its footprints in the fresh white powder, echoing Lily's own boot prints nearby. She waves goodbye to both the crow and the enchanting snow before making her way back into the warm embrace of her bakery, leaving behind the winter wonderland just outside. Surrounded by cheerful laughter, people are busy decorating cookies. Lily observes delightful palm-sized snowmen dressed in scarves and hats, vibrant green trees topped with colorful ornaments, and delicate white and blue snowflakes with beautifully iced edges. There are also white candles flickering with soft yellow flames, stained glass cookies dusted with powdered sugar, elegantly tied with ribbons and strings, and chocolate chip cookies that bear the marks of a few bites taken. Some of the first guests have begun to hang their cookie creations on a shiny metal tree in the corner. While many will take their treats home, several choose to leave one behind on the tree, where it will stay until the arrival of the new year. Lily picks up a stained glass cookie, brings it to her lips, takes a bite, and delights in the buttery crumbs that melt in her mouth. The sweet candy glass at its center dances on her tongue. There's nothing quite like a freshly baked cookie, Lily muses to herself. Throughout the day, she will help her friends embellish their cookies in all sorts of fun and imaginative ways, and may even treat herself to an afternoon coffee. But for now, she finds joy in standing still, soaking in the festive ambiance as magical snowflakes drift down outside the bakery window. The soft tapping against the glass gently stirs Lily from her slumber. She keeps her eyes closed for just a few more moments of peaceful rest. Before she knows it, she drifts off again as the sound of rain harmonizes with dreams of wet streets and shimmering puddles in her mind. Slowly, those visions fade away as she becomes aware of her cozy bedroom once more. A smile spreads across her face as she finally opens her eyes, thankful for those extra minutes of sleep. Even now, the sound of rain is beginning to quiet down. It might stop altogether, she thinks, while stretching her arms high above her head. She circles her toes gently, feeling warmth spread through her ankles with each rotation, before swinging her legs off the side of the bed. After slipping her feet into her snug slippers, Lily makes her way to the kitchen. Just like she does every morning, she sets the kettle on the stove for a warm cup of tea. The gentle sound of bubbles forming inside is both familiar and soothing, creating a comforting melody in the stillness of the early hours. At this time of day, the presence of bubbles and rain are two constants that fill Lily's heart with a sense of home. Before dawn breaks, she reflects on the little joys that enrich her life while she carefully scoops dry tea leaves into a tall tea ball, twisting it closed. She hangs the ball from her mug's rim, using a delicate chain. As soon as the water reaches a boil, Lily pours it over the leaves and watches in delight as the hot water transforms into shades inspired by the tea leaves. This moment is precious to her. No matter how many mornings pass, each brew reveals new patterns of color in her mug. The ritual of making tea feels both comforting and wonderfully fresh each time. Once she adds a splash of milk to her brew, Lily carries it to her wooden window seat. Gazing through the glass, she takes in the neighborhood, still shrouded in darkness. The rain has eased, giving way to a gentle mist, and she notices wisps of fog curling in behind her neighbor's house. The man across the street tends to an exquisite garden throughout spring and summer. Even now, in autumn, his yard appears meticulously arranged. The brown, red, and yellow leaves scattered across his lawn resemble an artist's brushstrokes on a vibrant canvas. At this hour, he remains tucked away in slumber, much like most others in the neighborhood. With a smile, Lily thinks to herself, "I must be one of the earliest risers around here." Though her bakery calls for early mornings, Lily welcomes them with open arms. It fills her with happiness to know that she provides a warm haven for her customers as they greet their day. As she glances across the street, she spots freshly turned soil, a sign that he must have planted bulbs just yesterday. This reminds Lily that it's time for her to do some planting too. Beside the bakery lies a small garden where over the years she has enjoyed cultivating various crops. From fragrant herbs to juicy tomatoes and peppers, it now awaits transformation into a beautiful flower garden. Or at least it will become spring if she plants those bulbs soon enough. These bulbs rely on the cool, autumn earth to awaken from their slumber and take root for what lies ahead. I mustn't forget to bring them with me to the bakery today, she tells herself gently. After relishing her cup of tea, Lily casts one last look out the window. The fog has begun to envelop the house across the street, a phenomenon she had anticipated. Foggy days have always held a special charm for her, filled with a sense of magic and wonder, as if hidden realms and secret wonders lay just out of sight. This thought brings a smile to her face as she rises, takes her mug to the sink, rinses it clean, and leaves it to dry on the bamboo rack before heading off to her bedroom to get dressed. Choosing a vibrant red shirt, adorned with cheerful yellow accents, she thinks to herself, "On such a gray day, I might as well add a splash of color to my outfit." By the front door lies a paper bag brimming with flower bulbs, waiting for her attention. The bulbs vary in texture from slightly firm to gently soft, and include daffodils, narcissus, and crocuses that remind her of onions and garlic. The hyacinth bulbs, tinged with reddish-purple hues, bring to mind turnips. Lily slips into her coat, carefully tucks the bag of bulbs into a roomy pocket, puts on her hat and gloves, and secures her green and yellow polka dot umbrella around her wrist. As she opens the door, She pauses to take in the tranquil street outside, where the fog wraps everything in a gentle haze, blurring the view of the pavement, merging seamlessly with the road before her home. She imagines the neighboring houses resting peacefully beneath their soft gray blankets. Taking a deep breath, Lily delights in the crisp freshness of the air. Cleansed by last night's rain and enveloped in fog, feeling invigorated, she closes the door behind her and sets off on her walk. Though small puddles dot the pavement, none are large enough to impede her progress. Her sturdy boots allow her to navigate them with ease. Noticing how little water has gathered, she muses aloud, "The rain must have been light and quick last night." Enjoying her stroll toward the bakery, without needing her umbrella, she gazes up at the overcast sky, where fog dances around treetops, mingling playfully with branches and leaves. As she extends her hand into the mist, droplets gather on her skin like tiny treasures. Instead of wiping them away on her coat, she brings her hands together, as if inviting moisture into her skin like a soothing lotion. Finding comfort in this connection with nature, she revels in the harmony between herself and the weather, the trees whispering secrets above, and the sky embracing them both. As Lily turns her gaze toward where her neighbor's house should stand, she can only make out the faint outline of the driveway, shrouded in a soft blanket of white and gray fog. She thinks of her neighbor's two cats, one as white as snow and the other as dark as night, and imagines them curled up together in their favorite window nook, perhaps lost in dreams of sunny summer afternoons and fragrant catnip. Continuing on her path, she listens to the steady rhythm of her footsteps against the pavement, each sound magnified by the enveloping mist. Under this atmospheric cover, every noise becomes more pronounced, enhancing her awareness of the world around her. It takes Lily a bit longer than usual to locate the bakery. The vibrant, multicolored door peeks through the swirling fog for just an instant before disappearing again. A smile spreads across her face. Even if she couldn't see it at all, she would still know it was there. After so many years of making this same morning walk, she feels certain she could navigate it blindfolded. Yet, there's a comforting joy in spotting it and knowing that soon she'll step inside to be embraced by the familiar sense of coffee beans, sugar, and flour, while illuminating her little shop with twinkling fairy lights that breathe life into the space. She retrieves her keys and carefully selects the right one for the lock. Stepping inside, she wipes her shoes on the mat before flipping on the overhead lights. She removes her coat and hangs it up, leaving the bulbs tucked safely in its pocket. Before moving behind the counter, she finds the end of a strand of fairy lights in the seating area and plugs them in. They spring to life above her with a gentle flicker. That might just be my favorite moment of the day, she muses to herself. The twinkling lights signal that she's truly home at the bakery. With gratitude for this warm sanctuary, she inhales deeply, savoring the deliciously familiar aromas that fill the air. The coffee beans emit a rich yet thick scent. The flour is dusty and evokes memories of weekends spent baking delightful treats with her grandmother. The sugar carries a hint of caramelization that reminds her of festive fairs and cookies shaped like trees and ornaments during holiday seasons. As she exhales slowly, tension melts away from her muscles. She rolls her shoulders gently to warm them up before stepping behind the counter. Before leaving the bakery yesterday, she had set aside a cherished recipe for one of her favorite cold weather delights, fudge. Gazing at the well-worn handwritten page, smudged with cocoa powder fingerprints and frayed at one corner, she could almost taste the rich chocolate melting in her mouth. Yes, she mused, this is precisely what I want to create today. One of the things she adored most about this recipe was its simplicity. It required only two main ingredients, chocolate chips and sweetened condensed milk. Lily paused for a moment, contemplating the different fudge flavors she could whip up. Her regular customers often requested peppermint, so she would need to grab some peppermint extract and crush a few candy canes to sprinkle on top. Rose, a dear friend, loved hazelnut fudge, so whole hazelnuts would be perfect for her batch. And finally, Lily had been craving a decadent orange chocolate fudge for herself, which she could enhance with some leftover candied orange peel for an extra burst of flavor. With determination, she ventured into the pantry and gathered her trusty double boiler, appropriately sized pans, wax paper, chocolate chips, sweetened condensed milk, and all the essential flavorings and toppings. Carefully carrying her supplies behind the counter, Lily admired her shiny silver double boiler, the secret to achieving perfectly melted chocolate chips, just as her mother had once taught her. Over the years, despite trying various methods with bowls over pots and other techniques, Lily couldn't forget her mother's advice when it came time to open her bakery. Thus, she had invested in her own gleaming double boiler. Filling the bottom pot halfway with water, she placed the second pot atop it and set it on the stove. Then she poured a generous helping of chocolate chips into the upper pot. As the water began to warm up below, steam enveloped the chocolate chips, gently melting them without burning. With a wooden spoon in hand, she stirred slowly, watching in delight as they transformed from solid chunks into a smooth and gooey concoction swirling beautifully around the pot. Before long, the chocolate chips transform into a velvety pool of melted goodness. As Lily adds the sweetened condensed milk, she stirs the mixture until everything is harmoniously blended. Once she takes the boiler off the heat, she introduces a spoonful of peppermint extract into the peppermint fudge. The crisp, invigorating scent of peppermint fills the air, stirring memories of frosty winter days adorned with ice and snow. With a swift motion, she pours the warm chocolate mixture into a pan lined with wax paper before it cools too much. The fudgy liquid cascades into the container like molten lava flowing through rocky crevices, filling every nook and cranny. She carefully scrapes the sides of the pot with her wooden spoon to ensure not a drop of fudge is wasted. Then gently lifts the pan and taps it on the counter to help the mixture settle evenly. Now it's time for the delightful topping. Lily retrieves a sturdy rolling pin from a nearby drawer and unwraps several red and white candy canes, peeling away their plastic wrappers. Feeling a slight stickiness on her fingers from the sugary confections, she places the candy canes in a bag nestled between two towels and rolls the pin back and forth over them. The soft crunching sounds signal that the candy is breaking into smaller pieces. Once crushed into tiny fragments, she scoops some up in her hand and sprinkles them generously over the cooling fudge. The larger chunks will add a satisfying crunch, while the finer bits will infuse an extra touch of peppermint flavor. Lily transfers the fudge to cooling racks, where it will rest until it's ready to be sliced and served. In the meantime, she cleans out her pot and prepares for her next 2 batches. Before beginning again, she grates an entire orange for its fragrant zest. This zest, along with orange oil, will lend a lively citrus flavor to her fudge. After melting another batch of chocolate chips and mixing them with milk, Lily stirs in both the zest and oil into her concoction. The melted fudge gleams under the light as the oil blends seamlessly in, creating an even smoother texture. She imagines how heavenly it will taste as it melts in her mouth with that first bite. To finish off this batch, she decorates it with delicate curls of candied orange peel on top, gently pressing them down to set in place. Indulging in a piece herself, she delights in the vibrant citrus flavor, beautifully softened by rich sweetness. Now, it's time to whip up some hazelnut fudge. Just as Lily is about to warm the water on the stove, Rose pops up on the other side of the counter. "It's so foggy outside," she comments to Lily. She shares a story from earlier that morning when she was leaving her house and became a bit disoriented, thinking she might have taken a wrong turn because the dense fog shrouded everything around her. Eventually, she spotted the bakery's twinkling lights in the distance, like guiding stars leading her safely through the mist to her beloved destination. Lily beams with delight at Rose's tale and can't wait to tell her about the hazelnut fudge they'll be making. "That's my favorite," Rose exclaims, clapping her hands softly in excitement. Lily pours a steaming cup of coffee for Rose, who finds a snug spot by the window. Back at the stove, Lily prepares the double boiler and mixes together chocolate and milk just as she has done before. Once she removes it from the heat, she adds in hazelnut flavoring along with crushed hazelnuts before pouring the mixture into a lined pan. To complete her creation, she carefully arranges whole hazelnuts on top of the fudge, giving each piece an extra crunch and rich taste. As the delightful aroma of hazelnut fudge fills the air, mingling beautifully with hints of orange and peppermint, a perfect blend for a chilly day, Lily notices Rose smiling contentedly. While waiting for the fudge to set, Lily decides to plant some bulbs in the garden. "It's a quiet day, and I'll have a good view of anyone coming by," she thinks to herself. She walks over to Rose and gently places a hand on her shoulder. "I'll be outside if you need anything," she reassures her friend. To Lily's surprise, Rose offers to join her, a lovely chance for companionship in the garden. Although Lily enjoys spending time alone with her plants, she always treasures moments shared with dear friends. After all these years, Rose has truly become one of her closest companions. Hand in hand, Lily and Rose approach the door, donning their coats and wrapping scarves around their necks as they step outside. In the quaint little garden, Lily pulls a bag of flower bulbs from her pocket. Meanwhile, Rose discovers a workbench adorned with various tools and finds a couple of trowels waiting for them. The two women settle on their knees in the soft earth, giggling as the cool soil seeps into the fabric of their trousers and begin to dig. They share fond memories of the many seasons they've experienced at the bakery. There was that amusing episode when Max from the hardware store accidentally ordered 12 dozen cupcakes instead of just 2 for his daughter's birthday celebration, leading them to give away cupcakes for days on end. Then there was that summer storm that washed out roads, leaving visitors stranded in town. Everyone flocked to the bakery, brewing coffee, whipping up snacks, and gathering blankets and children's books to keep their unexpected guests cozy until the roads were cleared. Do you remember all those wonderful moments we've shared here? Rose asks with a smile. Lily nods as she carefully presses soil around the last flower bulb. Stepping back, she admires their creation. Rose joins her side, and together they stand in quiet contentment, reflecting on the cherished years gone by. Lily gazes at the fairy lights twinkling like tiny stars in the misty night, inviting those seeking warmth and comfort. Truly a bakery for rainy days.